Hello, everybody, and welcome to Fortress Comic News, episode 397. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike. What's on, Mike?
Hey, nothing much. Nothing much. I see you want to gloat for a little bit.
I do.
Quite a bit of news, so let's hear you gloat.
So let's do a quick gloat, because this week on Threads, Mike, of all places.
Wow. There's so many different places now.
The all-perfect, all-amazing James Gunn replied to a post. And I'm not gonna read who the post is from, because I can't pronounce that shit.
Okay.
But the post says, James, why are you overlooking origin stories? Those make us connect with the characters well at an emotional level. Just false.
Yeah.
James responds, Mike, with, I'm not telling Batman or Superman's origin stories again, because everybody knows them. I got James Gunn on my side, that's all I'm saying.
Yep. You feel vindicated. Hey, the guy at the top said it. You must be right. I mean, come on.
He then goes on to say, because someone said something about Swamp Thing being like why are you doing Swamp Thing, blah, 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 and like basically shitting on Swamp Thing. And he all but says, like, put some respect on that name. Like, those are some of the greatest comics ever made. Yeah. He had a pretty good TV show. He's had movies. Like, he's not like a no-name character.
He basically said, shut your mouth.
Yeah, shut your mouth. We're doing it.
Yeah, it's happening. Yeah, Swamp Thing's one of the coolest characters. Come on, man. What the fuck? I can't wait.
Pop culture origin stories, don't need them. Move on.
Yep. Well, you mean you don't want, Zack Snyder to come in and do a slow motion of the pearls getting wrapped around the gun and the gun firing and the pearls explode everywhere as a metaphor.
We get it.
In slow motion.
Parents are dead.
But like, that part was always so funny to me. Is like, oh man, the pearls got wrapped around the gun and then the gun fired and then
listen, I don't hate Snyder. Like, I think he's way overrated now, but he spent think a little bit more on like the Martha scene and a little bit less on the how do I fucking do the pearls again for the 100th time.
Right.
Ugh. Anyways.
Yeah. No origin stories. That's the moral of the story, kids.
For Batman and which this is what I've always said for the longest time. Like, these are pop culture characters. I mean, I put Spider-Man up there as well. We don't need their origin stories. When they do Swamp Thing, like, yeah, do that. Do the origin story. But
because
we get it. Batman's parents are dead. We get it. Superman.
You need a little bit of an explanation of how a man becomes a swamp. So
he's bitten by a radioactive swamp. What do you mean?
Yeah, of course. Booster Gold, they'll probably have to do his origin because it'd be a little confusing not to. But there was a quick little side note. Someone was telling me the story of those games like the Shadow of Mordor games.
Yeah,
they're really good. But the actor, I can't think of his name, who's going to be playing Booster Gold from he's from Silicon Valley and he was in the Eternals, I believe. He's the comedic actor, and he was in I believe he's Indian. You're gonna look it up so we get a name. Here it goes.
I forgot that they cast him. He's good, yeah.
Yeah. So it was a really funny clip from like he did an interview with Conan O'Brien or something, and I guess he got to voice one of the orcs or one of like the generals in that game. And there's like a clip of them playing video games together, like Conan used to do. And it cuts to the scene, and if you know this actor, he has a very like high pitched voice, kind of like comedic voice. Mm-hmm. And the orc is just like, "Oh, come on, man!" Like, and Conan's like, "You didn't even change your voice." Like, I guess in that game, there's like one orc that doesn't have like an orc voice. It's like a high pitched voice from this guy, and it's like hilarious. And Conan's like, "What did they just like call you over the phone, and you just like talked over the phone to do this orc voice?" And he's like, "They didn't want me to change my voice. I don't know." And it's just like, if you watch the clip, it's so funny because the orc, like, it's like so off-putting. And I was like, yeah, this dude is definitely going to be Booster Gold because this whole interaction is like hilarious.
No, he's great. If you've never watched Silicon Valley, it's a great show.
Yeah, I gotta watch that. He was on this guy was in this season of Only Murders, and he plays like one of the neighbors that's upset. He's like a influencer, but he's obsessed with Christmas, so he has to do Christmas videos all the time, and he hates Christmas. But that's like his thing, so now he has to do it all the time. Yeah, it's amazing. He's really funny. But yeah, so let's we got quite a bit of news. I guess we'll just jump right into it. Speaking of James Gunn, he did announce that Alan Tudyk will continue to be the voice of Clayface in the DCU for future series and movie projects. Tudyk previously voiced Clayface in Harley Quinn animated series and Kite Man. Hell yeah. Yeah, I think he's a great voice actor. I think his Clayface was pretty hilarious. So I wonder how. I have a feeling they're only going to be used Clayface comedically moving forward.
Yeah, which is disappointing to me. Like,
I mean,
Clayface
we just saw him in the
Batman.
Batman. We just saw him in the Batman animated show. So like,
yeah,
but that does kind of suck.
His episode in Batman animated series is like one of my favorite episodes. I think Clayface is a great character. So I hope that's not the case. I hope they kind of tone him down and maybe do something interesting with him, because Tudyk's done serious stuff before,
right?
So
we'll see.
I'm a little on edge about that one, but we'll see. Like I said, the great and powerful James Gunn, he does no wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we could certainly see Alan Tudyk live action serious version of Clayface. I think that'd be awesome.
Yeah, like
so.
And that'll all be super interesting how they pull that off. But good for Tudyk. I like him.
He played a villain in Doom Patrol, so he could do it again. Right?
Yeah, he was good in Doom Patrol too. So
that was probably my favorite season. More movie news. Deadline reported that James Gunn's DCU has cast Daniel Craig as Sergeant Rock for a new film. That director Luca Guadagnino is signed on as well. The two previously worked together on the film Queer. I didn't see Queer, but Daniel Craig, and his first licensed property since James Bond. Oh, I guess no. I'm sorry, Knives Out. Sorry, everybody, Knives Out.
Oh, is Knives Out a licensed property?
Yeah, it's like a series of novels.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, like that's
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so it's like a thing. But Daniel Craig is Sergeant Rock. That is interesting.
Oh, it is. So, Creature Commandos, if I'm correct, takes place in the past.
I think so.
I don't know how far in the past.
We'll have to. I guess we'll see when it comes out. Yeah,
but we'll see with Sergeant Rock. Like, he's a well-known World War II character. So,
right. Yeah.
Are we going to bring him to Vietnam or something? Or even then, that's so far away.
Are we going to get full serious, or are we going to get half serious, half comedic Sergeant Rock?
Yeah, I'm very curious on this. Listen, this is what Gunn did best at Marvel. He takes no-name characters and makes them household names. So I believe in the vision here, but
yeah, that's kind of crazy though. I'll tell you right now, I never gave a shit about Sergeant Rock.
Yeah, but when he shows up in things, it's like, oh, cool, it's Sergeant Rock. But I'm not gonna. Other than that one where he's fighting Nazi zombies, that was cool,
that Bruce Campbell did. That was cool.
Yeah,
but this, I'll care now that it's Daniel Craig. I think a lot of people will be like, oh my god, Sergeant Rock's my favorite DC character, which has never been fucking said. At least I've never heard it said in the amount of comic book shows.
I'm sure he's like Garth Ennis' favorite character.
Of course. That's about it. Yeah.
But it was funny though reading the articles, because honestly, I think we both kind of aren't Sergeant Rock guys. So this, cool. We'll see what it's like.
Right.
But reading the article about it is like these two reunited for the first time since their previous work, and I was like, oh, they work on James Bond together or something. It's like, no, they worked on Queer. It's like,
I was like,
I have nothing against that movie. I'll never watch it, but
I haven't seen it. But
that's not a big fucking
to go from that to a war movie set in the DC universe.
Yeah. With this announcement, if you told me he teamed up with the guys who did James Bond with them, I'd be like, oh, that's huge.
Yeah,
but this is kind of
action packed.
And listen, I've looked at nothing against Luca. I'm sure he's a fine filmmaker, but I looked up his past work. They're not rated very high. It's not like he's an acclaimed filmmaker that everybody's
right
ready to go with, but we'll see.
If you said Michael Bay, I'd be like, okay, this makes sense.
That'd be hilarious. But
not that I particularly like Michael Bay, but
yeah, and I looked at his past work. I'm like, none of this is stuff that interests me really. It's all like he's an Italian filmmaker, so he has a style that's
artistic,
outside of what I would normally enjoy, and they're all like very romance, like in the moment kind of things. Like not a superhero in sight, so why would I care?
Right. No guns and weapons. Come on. Yeah,
no, I just looked through it. I was like, I don't know if anything here interests me, and it's a jump from what he normally does to a Sergeant Rock movie. So we'll see how that goes.
This was interesting. I we haven't seen like much about this Masters of the Universe movie. We know it was announced, but the first thing that we saw was Deadline reported that Idris Elba would be joining the cast, and I was like, I wonder what he'd play. He's confirmed to play Man-at-Arms, which is the best role for Idris Elba. When I read that, I was like, holy shit. This was like this role, like this dude, like in his roles that he's played in the past, Man-at-Arms was like made for him. He was made for him. This, if nothing is good about this movie, this will be the best part.
This is great. I love Idris Elba. Like,
yeah, me too.
I was all for him being Bond back in the day.
Me too.
I think he's gotten a little bit too old to play the character, but he could still probably pull it off. I think the problem is they want a younger person so they can do multiple movies with him.
Right.
And I hope this goes like full wacky with it. Like, don't
give him a mustache.
The old movie was what it was. I mean, it's an enjoyable 80s fucking movie.
Yeah, it is an 80s film for sure.
But we're in the day of comic accurate like suits. Yeah. So I bet he better have that giant fucking helm on. He better have like next to no clothing with the giant mustache. That's
what I want to see.
So
do it right.
I'm excited for this. Like, this is the first thing I've even seen about this movie other than the announcement that's happening. And this immediately was like, okay, I'm ready.
Yeah, and just make John Cena He-Man. Will be.
Oh my god, that'd be phenomenal.
Oh my god, please.
Who's The Rock gonna play?
I was gonna say anybody but The Rock. Don't put Rock in the movie because he's just gonna like.
The Rock is Skeletor.
Yeah, he's gonna The Rock everything.
Speaking of The Rock.
Speaking of The Rock. So you went and watched Red One. I think I might wait for this one to come out on video around Christmas time to watch it. But what did you think?
It's so much fun, dude.
Is it? Really?
I love this movie. Listen, what's great about it is it's goofy as all hell.
Yeah.
Like, Nick Kroll's in it at one point.
Oh, I heard his character's really good.
His character's phenomenal. Like, he gets possessed and he has to do this weird possession thing.
That's funny.
But it's super goofy. Like, there's a giant fucking polar bear that fights with them. There's, like, they fight snowmen who have six-pack abs because why not? They go into, like, Krampus's, like, village and everything. But they play everything so serious.
Really?
Yeah, like, everything is as if it was, like, a real action movie.
Oh, my God.
Like, there's jokes,
yeah,
but they're not like winking at the camera jokes.
Right.
It would be like The Rock, like doing something, then being like, have a jolly old time, but not laughing, not grinning, serious fucking, like, it's God. So awesome.
He just doesn't know that he's in a comedy.
Yeah, exactly. And like, so they, Chris Evans' character is a real person, like a human.
Yeah.
Who ends up in this whole scheme where like Santa gets abducted, and The Rock plays basically Santa's bodyguard who works for the division ELF.
Okay.
And so throughout it, like Chris Evans just like, so you're Elf, and Rock just goes, it's not Elf, it's ELF.
Oh my God. What the fuck? What the fuck?
And they do a great job of like explaining little lore things about Santa Claus, like why we don't see him, like his village up in the North Pole.
Mm-hmm.
They basically stole the whole Wakanda thing where there's a dome over the village.
Oh my God.
So you can't see it.
That's
Same
amazing.
with Krampus, because Krampus lives in Germany, because of course Krampus lives in Germany.
Of course he does.
Yeah. If you want a fun action movie that has like a lot of Christmas themes around it, It's great. Like, it's a ton of fun. It's not going to blow your socks off of like this amazing story or anything.
Yeah.
It's exactly what you think it is.
I heard it's just flopping right now because it's a Christmas movie that was released before Thanksgiving. But what I read was, I think they did it at this time, so it'll get it released at home around Christmas time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you can rent it at home, which is probably where they plan to make all their money when everybody's home for Christmas and want to watch The Rock.
I also just feel like everything I read now is like, this movie flopped, that movie flopped, and I'm like,
yeah, there's been a lot of I think it's just like these big budget movies, and people are really coming out for them. I mean, it hasn't just been like these types of action movies. There's been a lot of like Megalopolis, all these like big overhyped movies that they spend millions of dollars on, and they're like, nobody wanted to see that.
I also wonder if the model's changed.
Yeah, maybe.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if we can go with it did this at the box
They're
office
making more
anymore.
on streaming. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah,
so
people like renting them at home and stuff. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have the answer to that. I'm not into the movie industry as much, but I do feel like that's every movie I see now, with the exception of like the rare occasion where like Barbenheimer, those two movies like went through the fucking roof. And
yeah, made like
the
$1 billion.
occasional like superhero movie.
Yeah.
So I think it's well worth everybody's time. Like, it's a ton of fun. It's a solid like under 2 hours.
Nice.
Great cast. And like I said, it's just the way they play everything so straight throughout the movie is what makes it.
And then you finally watched Dune Part 2.
I did. So my father calls me up, and apparently there's a Dune streaming series on Max now.
Yeah, there's a show about the
Ben Gesserit.
Yeah, the Benny Gesserit. Yep.
Which is great because my dad just calls me like fucking nerding out about this. Like,
the
there's
Benny
a
Gesserit
show on Max, and yeah.
Shai Hulud.
And I was sitting there, I was like, oh, I still haven't watched Part 2.
Yeah.
So I sat down, I watched it over 2 nights because it's like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it's a long movie,
but it's great. Like,
yeah,
they really follow the book pretty well. They set it up perfectly. Like, they're planning on doing a third movie. I've thought for a while that Dune should be a franchise. You can't just do the one book,
right?
And if you're complaining about the first movie, and I'm saying the royal you, not you in particular, Mike, but
yeah.
If you're complaining about the first movie it was a lot of like backstory and lore and like setting up, this was the action.
Yeah, this is for sure.
This is them taking everybody and like finally bringing the fight to the houses and everything.
Yeah, it was really good.
Great scenes, great moments. And the kid who plays Paul, who's also played Wonka in that musical,
Willy Wonka boy,
is so fucking good.
Nice. Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, and I think that I haven't watched any of this show yet. I might wait for it all to come out because they're doing Sunday nights again. They replaced the Penguin spot on HBO.
Yeah.
But I think it's really, there's so much you could do with this world building. I think it's great, and Denis Villeneuve, or whatever his name is, his direction for it is like spot on. I think it fits the universe so well. Yeah,
so I'm gonna jump on it, but I finished. So I finally watched that Knuckles series, the Sonic the Hedgehog Knuckles series. That. It's fine. It's fun. Yeah, it's like 6 episodes. It's exactly what you think it is. If you watch those movies, it's that.
Yep.
And I went back to Batman Cape Crusader, and I'm going to talk more about it next week because I should be able to finish it in the next couple of nights.
Nice.
But
yeah,
those are the priority, and then I'm going to jump on Dune, the show, because that was another thing on like the conversation with my father. Like, you need to watch it. We need to talk about it.
We got to talk about it. Get ready for Thanksgiving. Buckle up. That's awesome. That's great. When he reaches out, you're like, shit, I gotta watch this. And we have the listing of all the free comic book day books because that's happening in May. Yeah,
I'm gonna say this isn't all of them because there's manga, there's all ages books. There's
a lot. This is for May 3rd, not on May 4th this year. Sucks, but didn't work out with the May the 4th. This is for 2025, everybody. Free comic book day. If you don't know about it, go to your local comic shop, ask them about it, what's going on, how you can get some free comics. Some people do this bullshit thing where you got to spend money. Don't go to those shops. Go to the ones that are giving you free comics.
That being said,
Yeah,
you should spend money when you go.
you should spend money. The whole point is to spend money at your free comic book day shop, but not to spend money on the free comics.
Well, here's the trick, everybody. If they're a good retailer, they don't
Yeah.
force you to spend money. They just
No.
have really good deals, so you
Yep.
want to spend money.
Yeah, so then you spend more than you would normally.
Yes.
It's like the Black Friday of comic book shops is really what it is.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And they really win with free comics because free drugs, right? If you're addicted to drugs and they're offering you free drugs, and then they have deals on the drugs that you're doing. Yeah, it's great. All right, so Marvel Fantastic. We're just going to go through some of the list here. Marvel's Fantastic Four / Giant-Sized X-Men free comic book day. This includes a FF story from current creative team Ryan North and Humberto Ramo, as well as X-Men story from Jackson Lanzig and Colin Kelly. Also, a surprise story from Chip Zdarsky. Wow! So we got Jackson Lanzig, Colin Kelly on a X-Men solo book.
They're doing that Nick's book.
Yeah, but like for them to be on like the like top of the X-Men, I mean to be a free comic book day X-Men book, that's kind of huge, right?
What I think is going to happen is they're going to do, you know how they did like the Young Avengers?
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to do like a Young X-Men.
Oh, okay.
And it's going to spin out of Nick's.
That makes sense.
My only thing with, because I don't really care about X-Men or Fantastic Four, to be honest with you all.
I like Fantastic Four.
But I know you like Fantastic Four. You're enjoying that book.
Yep.
Surprise story from Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
And it's in the free comic book day issue of the two properties I don't really care about, which means I'm probably buying a book about one of these properties
probably
in the future.
Yep, they got you with that. They had to throw in Chip at the end there. We don't have a title, but we know he's going to be writing a book.
DC doesn't want him anymore, so we'll take him back.
Yep. Fucking washed up. Marvel's Amazing Spider-Man Ultimate Universe. Marvel's Amazing Spider-Man / Ultimate Universe free comic book day. This includes a story from new Amazing Spider-Man writer Joe Kelly, artist John Romita Jr., also a prologue to the Summer Ultimate Comics event story from Denise Camp, Cody Ziegler, and Jonah Scarf. Yeah, that's going to be huge. I mean, Spider-Man, everybody's coming out for that.
Yeah, they always do a Spider-Man one because it's Marvel. Yeah. I'll be getting it for the Ultimate Comics thing. Interesting that the big Ultimate Comics event isn't done by Hickman.
Mm-hmm.
I'll put a check on that. Also, it was announced in here that they're doing Luke Cage next year, so I'm thinking that's going to be where we get the first hint of Luke Cage in the Ultimate Universe. So
yep, that'll be cool.
Yeah, I'll be interested in that.
We always have a Star Wars book, Star Wars free comic book day. This includes previews of the next era of Star Wars comics from writers Alex Segura, Charles Soule, and Mark Guggenheim, with artists Phil Nato, Luke Ross, Stefano Raphael, and Medebek Muzabekov. Yeah, so let's see where Star Wars is going this year, right?
Yeah, Mark's doing that Jedi Knights book.
Yep.
So it's probably a preview of that. I feel like we know what Charles Soule's doing, but I'm forgetting. Oh, he's doing that Kylo Ren book. That's
that's right. Mm-hmm.
So it'll be that. Alex Segura, though, not announcing anything past this 12-issue series he's doing. Mm-hmm. Is Alex Segura sticking around Star Wars? I hope so, because I love Alex Segura.
I mean, that's same thing with that when we talked about Fantastic Four. Like, Ryan North's been on Fantastic Four like for over a year now, and I guess they're just going to plan to keep him around till May at least, right? So,
and probably longer, because that part of the solicitation of that book was that it's going to set up. It's post the first Doom event, and it's involved with the fucking movie in some way. So you can get Ryan North for a while, but cool. Yeah, that excited me to see Alex Gore's name on there, because that hints to me that he's going to be taking over like something big in the Star Wars books.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Also from Marvel is previews from the Marvel Voices series and some of their all ages titles from Iron Man, His Amazing Friends, and Spidey and His Amazing Friends. So we got to get all ages incorporated in there. That's always a good idea. Boom Studios' 20th anniversary special will include reprinted work from Boom's best comics like Something is Killing the Children, Berserker, and more. Yeah, that's probably good if they just want to like rehash what they already have.
My only thing with this is I love Free Comic Book Day. I get their short stories.
Right.
Reprinting work for me is lazy.
Yeah. It's like, come on.
Make it fun, interesting, get me into the books that you're putting out. Like, giving me reprints of old books, I don't know, doesn't do it for me. But
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of lame. Valiant Zombies Resurrection from writer Fred Van Lent. This will be a prequel to the Valiant Comics 2025 Zombie Event Series. Pretty cool. Chris likes zombies. Valiant.
I don't like Valiant though.
Yeah, I know. Valiant needs a win here for sure.
It's also like I would pick it up if it was like a multiverse book, but it seems to me like it's an event, like it's like Darkest Night,
Okay.
or like DC did like before DC did DC's.
Yeah.
DC did zombies, but it had to be in continuity. And it's like,
yeah,
like that was great. I love Darkest Night. Don't get me wrong.
right, yeah.
But Valiant, I don't care about, so I don't care about your continuity.
Yep. This is interesting. Dark Horse Critical Role and Black Hammer Free Comic Book Day. This will feature new stories in both the Black Hammer and Critical Role universe. They'll set up the future comic series. Interesting. Black Hammer's still going to be going on.
Yeah, with apparently new heroes rising in the Black Hammer universe. So
can they just like give it a break for a little bit?
We'll see. But we'll see, because that last issue was okay, but the end was so good that I'm like, this should have been the end.
Right. You could have just wrapped it up in a bow there. I'm excited for this one. IDW's Godzilla: The New Heroes. This will be the first look at the all-new Godzilla shared universe that IDW is starting in 2025. Let's go. I want to see more of that.
Interesting move.
Yeah.
A shared universe.
Shared universe. I mean, we've seen like the, Power Rangers, Godzilla. We've seen the so we'll see what other properties are coming over. They probably saw that like this shit sells. So
yeah, but I don't know. Do you need a shared universe for Godzilla?
I mean, I'll read it.
Do you need continuity?
No.
I mean, I'll be interested. I'll check it out. But yeah, it's an interesting move.
Yep. IDW Darks Find Your New Fears Free Comic Book Day. This will highlight new stories from the new IDW Dark Imprints comics like 30 Days a Night and Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. Yeah, so some horror books. Always happy to see that.
Yeah, spotlight your new imprint.
Yeah.
I'll be interested to see what 30 Days a Night is going to do for the future, because I love that series.
Yeah. Keen Spot's Toy Box Special Free Comic Day. This will include previews of some of Keen Spot's new all ages titles. Good idea.
Yep.
More from Keen Spots. Mark Spears Monsters #0. This will feature a new prequel story set in the Mark Spears Monsters universe, if you're a fan of that.
I like that first issue. I haven't read the second issue yet, but I'm assuming I will enjoy it, and I'll check this out.
Mad Cave coming out strong with two of their big properties. They have the Phantom #0. This will be a setup story for Mad Cave's new The Phantom series by Ray Fox. Okay. If you're a Phantom fan, I don't think we are, but
I'll say all two of them.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where Mad Cave's like earned the trust that I would check it out.
Right.
But you're not going to get me off the seats for the Phantom.
No.
I want to set up this next one real quick. With last week, we got the announcement that Speed Racer's coming to Mad Cave.
Right.
And we both said creative team rules in this.
Yes.
Go ahead,
so
Mike.
Here we go, folks. Mad Cave's Speed Racer #0. This will feature two setup stories for the new Speed Racer comics. The main Speed Racer series will be from writer, ready for it, David Papose. While the other will be a spin-off series called Racer X from Mark Russell. Yep, so we're in it, Chris. We're reading these books.
Yeah, picking up both these books now.
Ah, man. Why do they do this to us? It's so funny because when I was in the comic book shop this week, I was like, did you think anybody would be reading a Space Ghost book? Like, and it would be one of the best books you're writing, and it's like, or reading, and it's like, man, all right, here we go with Speed Racer now.
I saw that Proposa got the Speed Racer title. I was like, good for him.
Oh yeah,
it'll be a cool book. He did such a good job in Space Ghost,
sure.
as you said.
He deserves it.
Fucking Mark Russell.
Mark Russell writing a racing book.
I can't wait to find out how capitalism is at fault in the Speed Racer universe.
I can't wait to break down the bureaucracy of Racer X and what it means for the grand scheme of the political climate to be a racer.
It's gonna be fucking awesome too. So let's do it.
Oh man, we love you, Mark. Oni Press's EC Comics presents Blood Type 0. This will feature stories spinning out of some EC anthology books from the past year. Some of these will also become solo series like Blood Type 0, which spins out of Epitaphs from the Abyss. Also, a look into the future of EC Comics. Yeah, I think they've really gotten into something special here. Bringing back the EC Comics. I think they've been pretty popular, so yeah.
Yeah, that was a right place, right time thing. So
Mhm.
I need to catch up on those books, but
Yeah, but it's great because you don't have to like worry about what the past issues are.
not right now, but soon you might.
Yeah, you might now. Twisted Comics Black Mirror Free Comic Day. This will be a look into the Twisted Comics upcoming Black Mirror series. Tells us a fresh take on the classic Black Mirror story. Yeah, so we'll see what that's about. Twisted Comics, not a big name right now, but
No, and I was interested in this because it's Black Mirror. But
yeah.
is the series going to be new stories, or is the series just going to be retelling the show? Because
Yeah, that would be. I would rather see some new stories, like a Twilight
and you have
Zone-esque.
two different levels of like, I'll check it out and I don't care.
Right, exactly. Titan Comic, or sorry, yeah, there's two different Titan Comics. Titan Comics Diablo Free Comic Book Day. This will be the first look at the new Diablo comic book from writer Colin Bunn and artist Daniele Serra. So Colin Bunn coming out with a Diablo book. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to check out.
Yeah, not his first time writing a video game property. So
No, he's on a bunch actually.
yeah, quite a bit. Titan Comics, Conan the Barbarian, Scourge of the Serpent, Free Comic Day. This will be a prequel story to the Titans Conan event. So Conan's a huge guy. Titan Comics bringing it in. Yeah.
Yeah, so the main book's been great. They did an event that's just wrapping up, and apparently they want to keep doing them. So I'm all for it. It's all Jim Zub doing it, and this one sounds cool. Yeah. I'll take any Conan I can get at this point.
Udon Entertainment's Mega Man #0. Great. This will be an original story set new Mega Man comic writer Tavis Maiden, artist Kenny Ruiz. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a while since we've seen a Mega Man Free Comic Book Day book. We used to see one every year. This is going to be really popular.
So the last real Mega Man book was at Archie, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah. They
did do a 6-issue series at Boom, but it was based on that cartoon that shall not be named. Mm. So this would be the first actual Mega Man comic that I'll be picking up to read in a long time, outside like manga and stuff. So I'm really, this actually got me really excited. Like, I love Mega Man as a property.
Yeah,
and it works really well as a comic.
Yeah. Dynamite Comics. Oh, hell yeah. Thundercats / Powerpuff Girls #0. This is my first look at Dynamite's crossover series, Thundercats Powerpuff Girls, from writer Paulina Ganachu and artist Coleman Engel. Yes.
That's just fucked up enough of a crossover that I'm interested.
I don't know how that's gonna work. Can you picture like fucking like Panther and Buttercup talking to each other? The only connection I can make, Chris, is Mojo Jojo is like, oh, other sentient animals. I'm gonna tap into this universe. That's all I can see.
Yeah,
I don't even care. I'm gonna read the shit out of it.
We'll see. I'll be checking this out for sure.
We come from the era. Goofy. I love it. I think you loved Powerpuff Girls as much as I did when it was out. It was like, this show is something special. So that's all. I have no words for that. It's just like Image Comics I Hate Fairyland Free Comic Book Day. This will be a new story with art by Scotty Young. We'll celebrate the 10th anniversary of I Hate Fairyland. Wow, 10 years. That's crazy.
It is crazy. I can't believe it's that old. And Scotty hasn't done interior art in a long time.
For a while, right. Yeah.
So I'm really excited to get this.
And then we got the Image Comics Skybound Entertainment's Energon Universe Special Free Comic Book Day. This will feature the new stories set in the Energon Universe comics like G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Void Rivals. We know that's been a pretty big focus lately.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
I think all around, this is shaping up to be a really good Free Comic Book Day year.
Pretty solid. There's a lot of books there that I would really like to read. So,
yeah, I feel like a majority of them I will check out in some way. So,
yeah, I think it's comics. It's a great time for comics. There's a lot of good stories.
Too good.
Yeah, it's almost too good. There's too much going on. Marvel announced another X-Men comic titled Weapon X-Men from writer Joe Casey and artist Chris Cross. How many X-Men comics is that?
I lost count, Mike. Or somewhere near 20. I don't know.
Dude, that's more than like people must be reading like 3 or 4 X-Men comics a week. Like like I just said, there's so many good comics out right now, and you want everybody to buy X-Men.
You could just read X-Men. Like, that's how many books there are. Yeah.
And be busy with, like...
And have a constant stream of reading. Yeah. Like, anyways, it's unreal.
This new one is this lethal new team of mutant icons, including Wolverine, Deadpool, and Cable, will take no prisoners as they go guns blazing into enemy stronghold that needs to be destroyed. And with one world under doom impacting the entire Marvel universe next year, their first stop is Latveria. After Doctor Doom, Weapon X-Men's targets will be as wild as they are, including an all-new threat, though the Force will be this group of badass heroes to lock in and unleash their deadly skills like never before. Wolverine, Deadpool, Cable, Chamber, Thunderbird, together on their very own X-team for the very first X time. When a high-stakes mutant rescue mission comes from the ultimate global hotspot, exposes the true enemy, possibly from within, all new team of all-action icons suddenly find themselves forged in fire. The official membership policy is no mercy allowed, except no substitutes, and this is one you don't even know you're waiting for. No, we didn't know we were waiting for it because there's 30 other fucking X-Men books. Dude, we're already reading a Wolverine book that Greg Capullo's drawing. Like, we don't need anything else. Yeah. I mean, didn't Wolverine just kill, like, Deadpool? Like, I don't need to see him teaming up with Deadpool.
It's also funny to me because it's like back in the day when, like, DC would put out, like, 10 Bat books.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They used to do it. And it's not even that many, as X-Men books.
Yeah, and now it's like, put out all these X-Men books. Oh, yeah, and Wolverine and Deadpool are in every team.
Yeah. Even though he just killed Deadpool in probably the most popular X-Men book out right now. Crazy.
Yeah, and the only one not in continuity is the one that we care about. Like, you and I care about.
Yeah.
So it's
like, come on.
Yeah,
this is craziness.
I got nothing. I'm not an X-Men guy. I'll never be an X-Men guy.
Yeah, It's just too much. They're like, oh, Chris started reading a few of the titles. Let's add 35 more.
If you wanted me to keep reading X-Men, you should have just let Hickman do his thing. And I would have kept reading all these X-Men books. But you're like, nah, cut them off.
Yep, that's it. Announced at the end of Predator vs. Black Panther is Predator vs. Spider-Man from writer Benjamin Percy, artist Marcelo Ferreira. I think that's awesome. I think these books are great. I got to catch up on that series, but more of that stuff.
Yeah. Apparently it's a sequel too. Like, it's set in the same universe. So
that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. If I had to guess, I think it's gonna be Spider-Man in space, like trapped on the ship or something. I can see that.
I read what's happening, so I won't spoil it for everybody because it just came out. But I thought from the very beginning that the obvious crossover was Predator versus Spider-Man. I mean, Kraven the Hunter. I mean, let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting they're finally doing it. I just find it really intriguing that they're just keeping a continuity going with these books.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It's
a universe thing now.
Yeah, it's a choice, and I'm here for it. Although I will not be reading it. But I know you really like that Black Panther book.
The Black Panther one is really good so far. Marvel announced that 5 years after its announcement, they'll be publishing their adaptation of Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, from writer Jody Houser and artist Will Sliney. Oh my god. As the Resistance struggles against First Order dominance, Poe Dameron discovers an unthinkable threat on the horizon. As the fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance, Rey must find a way to the hidden Sith hideout, putting her on a collision course with Kylo Ren. With only hours to act while our heroes avert the devastation of the Final Order. So, yeah, I mean, that's a thing. Too little, too late, right? I think
they did adaptations for every Star Wars movie.
Yeah,
and then people hated Rise so much that they're like, "Don't, just leave it."
Yeah, just don't even touch it. And they're like, "Well, maybe we should still do it."
And I'm wondering if most or if not all of it was done already.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, it's been long enough. Maybe the fanboys forgot how
bad
that movie was.
Maybe they won't get upset when they read this. Oh, they'll get upset. That's crazy. It's been so long.
I don't read the adaptation, so I don't know. But I thought this was the funniest news outside of more X-Men books to me.
That's crazy. Like, who wants this shit? Nobody.
Somebody must be buying them.
Somebody wrote a letter and was like, I want my completed set.
I have the other 8 movies that you did adaptations for. I need
This
the
is
last
not
one.
fair. Yeah.
I don't watch these movies. I need to know what happened. I don't know why he's Indian all of a sudden. But I went there.
Okay.
And it was a choice, and
Yep.
I apologize to the Indian community for making that choice.
You went from like dopey to Indian very quickly there. I don't know how that. You sound like Apu from Simpsons. That would be a very Apu thing, though, from The Simpsons. To him, I can see that in The Simpsons. Of like, don't you know there's movies? And Apu's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I just read these
comics.
You read the comics. Dark Horse announced a new Minor Threat series. Like, can I just get caught up on the ones we have? This is my problem between Black Hammer and Minor Threats. Everything is turning into a universe. I need to get caught up, guys. You got to slow down.
This is why I liked Minor Threats when I was reading it.
Yeah.
And I got behind like 2 issues.
Right.
And then like they announced another book. And I'm just like, I'm done. I'm out. I don't need another universe. I don't need it.
This is like why I have to trade wait for these because I don't know. I can't keep up. The series is called Welcome to Twilight. This will be a 4-issue anthology series of stories from creators like Mike Allred, Matt Fraction, Brian Michael Bendis, Gail Simone, and more. So written by Matt Fraction, illustrated by Mike Allred, colored by Laura Allred. Welcome to Twilight #1 follows washed-up, burn-winged actor Benjamin Bronkowicz, who isn't a superhero but played one on TV. Now Brock spends his time on the superhero convention circuit trying to cash in on his fleeting fame, drinking away his problems as he fades into obscurity, but a chance to encounter with a mysterious woman empowers Brock to fight for his life. For what he once thought was over, can Brock learn to fly again? Or will his vices and the ruthless gangsters on his tails clip his wings for good? And issue 2, written by Brian Michael Bendis, illustrated by Sue Lee. Issue number 3 will be written by Gail Simone and illustrated by Jean Ha. And issue 4 will be written by Jerry Dugan and illustrated by Mark Torres. That's some big names they have on these books. I haven't seen Bendis in a while on anything, so that's interesting. He's coming out for this.
He's been doing stuff at Dark Horse because this whole whatever his universe is called
is over there.
Yeah.
This is probably the best way to like do it as an anthology, so I don't have to be stressed about reading it anytime soon. But I want to be in this universe. They're just making it really hard.
This reminds me of Black Hammer, though, which also published by Dark Horse, because at one point they were taking a break.
They did the anthology stuff.
They did a 6-issue anthology book that like Jeff Johns was a part of and a few others. So they're just playing back that playbook. Like, yeah. But I'm out on Minor Threats. I didn't need a universe. It was a cool story.
Yeah.
I didn't need it to be expanded. It's one of those things, like some things we can leave be. But people are buying them, so I'm in the minority maybe. I don't know.
I was probably selling a lot.
Punch my desk.
But we don't have Patton Oswalt on this one, just saying. The guy who created it.
Yeah.
I'll miss that.
He hasn't done any of them in a while, has he?
Yeah. No, I don't think he has. He didn't do the Barfly guy, he didn't do either, so.
Yeah, like all the side ones he hasn't done, so
he gets
that's one thing I will say. Yeah. At least with Black Hammer, outside of the anthology thing.
Yeah.
Jeff Lemire did all of it.
Yeah, right. So,
but
that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Dark Horse announced a new series titled "Who Are the Power Pals?" from writer Dwayne Murray, art from Ahmed Rafat. Washed-up actors Derek and Alex have been best friends ever since playing teen superheroes Swallow and Buzzard on the 90s TV show Power Pals. Wait, if you've never heard of it, don't worry, you're not alone, since the show was canceled after only 3 episodes. But that small taste of fame left them hungry for more. They've been trying to get back out in Hollywood, train ever since. After being fired from the studio's security jobs and dropped by their agent, the middle-aged pair decide to don their old costumes and thrust themselves back into public eye. While walking Hollywood Boulevard alongside popular cosplayers, they step in to defend Taurus from being badgered by a pair of rip-off characters. A video of the duo's heroic actions goes viral, and the attention inspires them to fight more crime, but when their low-level crime fighting inadvertently disrupts the plans of a crazed crime boss, Jesus Christ, their friendship will undergo the ultimate test, and they soon begin to realize that neither it nor they may survive long enough to enjoy their newfound fame. You don't need to give us, they gave us the plot synopsis of the first issue. Just say, these guys are washed up. It's 60s Batman. They want to be in Hollywood, and they end up fighting crime on Hollywood boulevards. I'm gonna read the book. Sold like that. You know what I mean? Like, this is something I'm gonna read for sure. I think it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, it sounds cool. It really does.
I think, I'm hoping it's that style of like, oh, we're washed up 60s Batman actors, and now we're trying.
I got that vibe from the the preview pages they put out, but
especially the art reminds me of like an old school superhero.
Yeah. It sounds interesting. A team I've never heard of though, so it's hard to like really get too much into how good it will be or how good it potentially could be. We'll see, but we'll see.
Oni Press announced the 5th and final series as part of their new line of genre-defining comics titled Breakout of Alcatraz. The series is written by Christopher Cantwell, art from Tyler Crook. That's a pretty cool cover. Convicts Frank Morris and Clarence Anglin have washed ashore in San Francisco after surviving their infamous escape from Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary in June 1962. They soon meet their gruff and disappointed handler, a mysterious young woman who is also running from something, and hope to quickly get their way north of the border to the border, if they can even make it out of Modesto alive. As a dodged federal manhunt and chance encounters threaten the desperate convicts, everyone involved is about to discover the same bloodstained truth. Life on the run is even more of a hellish prison than Alcatraz could have ever been. Not something I would check out, but are you going to be checking this out?
It's something I would.
Yeah.
But there's that air of, I don't really enjoy Cantwell.
Yeah, if you're not a Cantwell fan, probably not something. And again, there's so many other books.
Yeah. And, privileged position here, probably end up getting a review copy, so I will check it out.
Right.
But if I was sitting at the shelf and I wasn't really a fan of Cantwell's stuff, I mean, yes, Plastic Man's been really good, but outside of that, I haven't really enjoyed his stuff. It's tough. I just hate that these writers that I don't really enjoy have these cool premises that I would love to read.
You're just like, but not a fan.
Just for me, they can't pull it off. So, yeah. So, we'll see when it happens. I'll be interested to see what's genre-defying about it.
Yeah, I know. That's what I don't understand. Like, it doesn't sound genre-defying. Boom Studios announced a new series titled Bronze Face with writers Shobo and Schaff, with art by Alexandre Tefenki. Soho, London, estranged childhood friends Timmy, Sengo, and Kabanka reunite on the eve of British Museum's historic purchase of the world of the works of Timmy's father. Timmy has been invited as a guest of honor, but what the museum is heralding as a triumphant acquisition, the trio see as nothing short of a brazen cultural theft. Emboldened by a night of drinking and shared outrage, the friends concoct a scheme to steal back the seminal artwork themselves. So when the trio find themselves in the possession of the Register, a document outlining dozens of colonial-era stolen artifacts, their sights turn even higher to the benign bronzes, the British Museum's cache of nearly 1,500 works of stolen art from the Kingdom of Benin. It's almost, I get like National Treasure vibes. If that's like a heist/historical book, it sounds pretty cool, I guess, but not something I would be checking out.
There's too many keywords in there that sounds like it's going to be preaching to me.
Yeah, I just don't know. I don't know.
I've tried some of these books that have like cool premises set in like historical stuff, and they get so preachy that I can't do it. So we'll see, but there's a lot of key thefts or key phrases in here. Colonial being one of them, that just registers a red flag for me. It's something that's going to annoy me in the story.
Yeah, it's not something I really care to read.
I just read a novel, and like, while I don't have problems with these conversations happening, they kept bringing up like historical racism, and I'm like, this has nothing to do with the story.
Right. Yeah. If it does, if it has something to do with the story, that's
if you can tie it into the story, that's fine. But you literally just wanted to have a conversation in your book, and didn't know how to put it into your story. So, like, stuff like that annoys me. it's not the conversation, it's how it's implemented. So, but yeah.
But that's it. What did you read this week?
Apparently, Mike doesn't read comics anymore.
I don't read comics at all.
Okay, so let's go through this week's stuff. So, the question all along the Watchtower, number 1, which I know was your most look forward to.
I know.
Really enjoyed it. It really just sets everything up. Like, why is she the question now? How did she get to this point? Why is she on the Watchtower? All this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then kind of goes through the Watchtower and the different like parts of it and how it's not just this base, it's almost a living city. And different heroes now have different jobs inside the Watchtower, but like Animal Man works in the zoo inside the Watchtower for like all the different creatures across the galaxy, as in one example. The Challengers of the Unknown are there, Mike, and I laughed when I saw them because I was thinking of you.
They're the security team, apparently, for the Watchtower.
And then this like wannabe Iron Man attacks the base, and she fends him off, and that she realizes was a distraction for what was really happening, which is somebody was getting murdered inside of their jail. And that's kind of the setup of somebody was killed. Now she has to figure it out.
So, murder mystery.
Yeah, it was a really cool issue. A lot of setup though, so be prepared when you're reading it for like getting us to a place where the story can start. Dark Knights of Steel All Winter number 5 was really good. Basically, he finds this cave where an old friend is, and this old friend has a way for him to get through the storm by going underground. But there's also a shared history there, and we find out what really started the All Winter in this issue. And through that, he's able to reconnect with this Deathstroke, who I'm talking about. Is able to reconnect with his daughter in a way that she's going to now help him finish the mission.
Cool.
And then the backup story was the last part of the backup story that is definitely, well, they even say in the book, it's setting up the next volume that Tom Taylor's going to do.
Awesome.
So essentially, Aquaman is now older. He's going back to Atlantis and he's going to fight Black Manta. So the next volume is going to bring in Atlanta in some way into this whole universe more properly. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Paranoid Gardens number 5 came out, and the lead character, the girl that we were following throughout the book, we find out that her past is that she had like, she was a psychiatrist of some sort, and like shit went wrong, and somebody went on a rampage, and now she's blamed for it. So she tried to kill herself, and that's what got her to the garden. Was somebody saved her, brought her to this facility to save her life, but obviously the whole garden's all fucked up. And the head doctor there has now told her, listen, you should go talk to this cult I know. And he doesn't call it cult, but you know, and they'll help you out. Well, what he's really doing is getting her out of the way because she has that healing power. Because he wants the gardens to die so that he can take them over with the cult. So apparently the next issue is the cult coming and like the final battle. It's a very confusing book, but it is very enjoyable. Jupiter's Legacy finale number 2.
Nice.
So we find out, Mike, that one of the alien races that were in the first issue, we find out that one of them was basically farming Earth throughout its history. So humans are cattle. And the whole idea is they're cattle that can take care of themselves. And the superpowers that were given in the original series were basically these aliens giving humans a means to like take care of them, like fend off outside invaders. And then they give us a whole history of like, we've done this in the past, and they tie it into like, one of the times was, you know, the god you think of as Zeus. It was just one of our superheroes, but it was from back when. And whenever humanity and culture gets to a certain point, that's when the aliens come and like basically wipe us out to nothing and then make us restart.
Okay.
So we're at that point in this book. Like, they're going to come and do it, and now the heroes have to find a way to fend them off.
So they're going to hard reset the continuity.
Or just kill off the whole world. I mean, I don't know what they're doing, but it is what it is. It was an interesting issue, like, just to get the whole backstory and finally, because the last issue felt like nothing.
Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot there.
Yeah. Avengers Academy number 3. If you remember last issue, they were fighting like ghost monkeys. So while that's going on, the other half of the team is going to this town where vampires are attacking, and they have a battle there. The real story is that behind the scenes, Shang-Chi finds out that the Serpent Society has been working underneath all these disasters to steal a bunch of artifacts so they can take power. So now, like, the last 2 issues are going to be this new Avengers team has got to fight the Serpent Society. And there's a great, like, Shang-Chi moment in here where he fights off one of the Serpent Society guys.
Nice.
Moon Knight Fishikanchu number 2. He's still fighting some gangster dude, and it's basically like him trying to figure out what's going on. There's that drug that's like fairy dust. So he goes to Iron Man to be like, who do I talk to about this? And Iron Man's like, well, I'm an engineer. I don't I don't deal with this shit. It's either magic or chemistry. So you go Doctor Strange or Hank Pym. And apparently, Mike, Hank Pym's dead. I didn't know that in continuity.
Oh, okay.
It's on real on Ant-Man stuff.
Yeah, interesting.
And the big reveal here is that Ant-Man's actually alive.
Wow. Spoilers.
So, in the same issue, I found out he was dead and alive at the same time.
You didn't know he was dead? Well, he wasn't.
But it was a good issue. Ultimate Spider-Man number 11. Woo. Spider-Man gets in a fight with Negative Man in this one.
Oh, cool.
It's his first time fighting like by himself because Green Goblin doesn't show up. We also find out that Uncle Ben has known the whole time that he's Spider-Man. So there's that whole dynamic now. And we get introduced to the new Black Cat, who's the Black Cat we know, Felicia. Because the Black Cat that's been showing up has been her father, who got crippled in a fight with Green Goblin. So yeah, that's basically it. We got a new Black Cat. I was kind of hoping they would keep the dad.
Yeah,
do something different. And like he was goofy. He like had a mustache and like
that's funny.
He had like a Zorro mask on and everything.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Geiger number 8.
Nice.
They're in the town. We find out that the people running the town, the parents, like are burning books and shit. They don't like books, I guess, which pisses off Geiger, so he wants to leave.
He loves books.
He does. He's all about them books.
He's a big book guy.
So you get a whole backstory of the town, why it's there, why it exists, and everything. And then as Geiger leaves, and he's kind of like, he's an adult about it because they're doing it, and he literally says, like, I disagree with what you're doing, but this is not my town, so I'm just going to go.
Right, yeah.
And as he goes, the king that's been following them shows up in the town. So next issue, they're going to fight the king.
Nice. It's about time.
Yeah. Star Wars: The Battle of Jakku, Republic Under Siege, number 1. It's a lot of setup because that general dude is like embracing the dark side now, so he's gonna become some sort of wannabe Sith, I guess. And then you got like Luke on a mission doing things
and stuff.
We haven't gotten to Jakku yet. I don't know what's going on, Mike.
The book about Jakku? We haven't gotten to Jakku?
Not a single hint of Jakku yet. So
not even a little Jakku?
I mean, it's good, but like it's like we always say, you put Jakku in the title, show me some fucking Jakku.
Right. Come on.
And then a few quick ones. So I caught up on Uncanny Valley, which I really love this book Boom's putting out.
I forgot about that book.
So in issue 6, I forgot about 2, and I saw all the preview books. I'm like, oh, I need to finish this. And apparently it's going to keep going on. So in issue 6, we find out, okay, throughout the series, like the little kid, everybody's trying to get the little kid to the first cartoon, like the guy who started it all. And in issue 5, like that guy shows up. He's this big menacing thing. And we find out that like something has to happen to this kid, basically sacrificed to save all of Toon-dom, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
Issue 6, we find out it's Mickey.
What the hell?
So they literally use Steamboat Mickey,
Wow.
which was such a good surprise because this is the first time something major in my lifetime has become public domain.
Yeah.
And to see it used this well, not just like, it's Mickey, but he's killing people with knives.
Right.
It was really like awesome. So we get the story of Mickey being the first Toon, and then how he gains sentience and basically creates the Toon universe.
Yep.
And how that leads to this prophecy of this kid who's going to like save them all. So I think it's a really good series. I really highly recommend it. And then I read some Kickstarter books. Haunting on Mars 1 through 3. Really good horror book. Takes place on Mars. It's basically a sci-fi version of like all the horror shit, you know. So they do a pseudo zombie at one point. They do ghosts. They do all this stuff. But I really enjoy it. Sinner Takes All #1, which was billed as a Brubaker Phillips style book.
Okay.
And while the art is Phillips-esque, the book is not a Brubaker book. It's about this demon that's coming to Earth and talking to different people and trying to like basically take their souls. But he doesn't take bad people's souls. He takes good people's souls who are like almost at that point of success, but they just can't get over the hump. And with the wish from him, they can get over that hump, but it'll slowly degrade them into being a bad person. So like one person's an author and she does it, but then she realizes she gets there without doing the work. And so she just never becomes relevant again and ends up doing like terrible things because she can't deal with the fact that she's not relevant anymore. Stuff like that.
Interesting.
And we find out their stories weave together because at the end there's 2 main people that we follow, and the demon's like, yeah, I'll let one of you go, but you gotta decide who it is. And he just like drops a bunch of weapons in front of him.
What the hell?
So we'll see what happens there. And then a Pat Shand book, Devil in America #1. This is Pat doing like modern day Sopranos essentially.
Oh, okay.
So if you like that kind of stuff, you'll enjoy it. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was great, but I'm not big on mobster movies and shit. Like I enjoyed Sopranos enough, but it's not something I really look out for.
Penguin is as much mobster as Psycho.
Yeah, like you can put that into my stuff, but I don't.
I don't go looking for it.
Goodfellas, Godfather.
Yeah,
they're not really my thing. They're good. I don't deny they're good, but I like lightsabers.
Yep, laser swords.
And it's just more proof that like Pat's a good writer. I just don't like the not safe for work stuff. So when he does stuff that isn't that, I'm really excited about it. And yeah, Mike, that's everything I read this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on X, formerly known as Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
You can find me on X, Blue Sky, you fucking name it. It's a social media network. I'm there at Fortress Chris or at chriscomicscorner.substack.com. And you can find the show at Fortress Pod on Twitter and at fortresscomicnews.com. And if you want a sports show, 5-star reviews and podcatchers, like, subscribe, share, comment down below on YouTube, patreon.com/fortresscomics. So thank you all so much for listening and or watching this week. We'll see you here next week.
It's not letting you stop the recording?
Nope.
Huh. What if you refresh the page? Will that do anything?
All right, I'm going to try something. It's risky.
Okay, we'll see. What's risky?